Vivek Ramaswamy is a clear fucking Nazi. Every single time this guy is appearing in public, he is spreading tons of hate, propaganda, and death threats towards Ukrainian people. Every single time he is appearing on public, he is trying to prove that Ukraine is evil. This creature is calling us Ukrainian people evil because we are criminally persecuting traitors who help Russia, traitors who hate Ukraine, traitors who murder, torture people. But for this guy, Ilya Kiva, a notorious traitor whose IQ was around zero, is more important than the entire population of Ukraine. Not to mention that he is criticizing uh, his political opponent for supporting Ukraine against Russian aggression. Here is one of his most recent tweets about that we are evil because we prosecute those who decided to betray Ukraine and make lives of Ukrainian people even worse than they would be if Russia didn't have those who decided to betray Ukraine, the country Russia had decided to invade. Here he is also criticizing our president in terms of consolidating TV channels, which was an initiative of workers of those channels. They have agreed on such decision. Not to mention that there are a lot of TV channels in Ukraine which are working independently from what is being called in Ukraine marathon, an unified marathon. But this guy is refusing to understand this because the most important thing for Ramaswamy is to spread hate against Ukraine and Ukrainians, to show that we Ukrainians are subhumans who deserve to die. He thinks so without any proper reason. He believes that traitors like Kiva, like Medvedchuk, like Shufrich, like priest Pavlo, as we call him, Pasha Mercedes, because he has a lot of expensive things. He believes that they are more important, that they are more worthy to live than the entire population of Ukraine. He believes that he is starting to roast his political opponent, that he is presumably not familiar with Ukrainian geography, and pro-republican people are trying to make him look like a hero because he is criticizing the policy on Ukraine being led by America. I can understand people who do criticize funding of Ukraine, but I cannot understand people like Ramaswamy who are thinking that Ukrainian people are subhumans, that Ukrainian people should be under the rule of Russia or either lose the part of their lands because the existence of some portion of people who speak Russian. Here is his older tweet being made a few months ago about that we are evil because we speak Ukrainian language and because we promote Ukrainian language. It's not, like my mother tongue is Ukrainian. I used to speak Russian till 2016. After after September 2016, I have started to speak Ukrainian on daily basis. I didn't forget Russian, But Ukrainian is my native language. But for the first, the Russian speakers can understand Ukrainian language. I speak to Russian speakers on Ukrainian, and they understand me, even if they never use Ukrainian language. I mean, in Ukraine. I live in Kiev, not in the eastern regions where there are more Russian speakers than in Kiev, but I do believe that there is the same situation like in other regions where there are a lot of Russian speakers because they have learned Ukrainian language in some extent. But instead, and I do believe that such tweet is in such tweet Ramaswamy is trying to show us Ukrainian people that speaking Ukrainian is bad. Why is speaking any language is okay? Why having why having laws on language on national language protection in any country, including our enemy Russia, where there are a lot of indigenous nations Russia had conquered through centuries, but there's a one single official language, a Russian language. It's the only official language in Russia. Why is it okay? Why in France, where there are a lot of immigrants from Africa, from Middle East, where there are also a few indigenous languages like Breton language, like Gascony language. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember on Eurovision 2022 there were a song from France, contestants on Breton language, and I don't remember in 2013 or in 2018 France had adopted a law restricting capabilities of use of official use of other languages than French, and nobody had protested. But when we have adopted a similar law protecting Ukrainian language, which has been under persecution for literal centuries, we have used to be our ancestors used to live under Russian occupation. Since Zaporizhzhia siege has been demolished, and there were multiple times when Russia not just have banned Ukrainian language, its use in literature, culture, and other spheres, but also didn't recognize it as a separate language. And a person who can speak both Ukrainian and Russian can tell you what are differences between Ukrainian and Russian languages. There are a lot of them. And here is a guy who is not who hadn't been in Ukraine, never been in Ukraine, who had popped up just a few months ago, is trying to show us that persecuting traitors who help Russia to make war consequences even worse is wrong, and who is trying to show us that speaking Ukrainian is wrong, and that we should lose our lands to Russia because there are some people living who speak Russian, which and it's like I mean, why should we lose our lands to the country who had attacked us? Not to mention that this country is the biggest country in the world. Russia does not need more lands. Russia is as big as China and United States of America combined. Yet this motherfucker is believing that Ukrainian people are evil because they prosecute those who help Russia to murder, torture, rape, abduct, and steal from them, as well as banning Ukrainian people to speak Ukrainian because some people living in Ukrainian speak Russian. I do believe that Ramaswamy should be charged for discrimination and genocide propaganda. There is no place in American politics on earth for people for beings like Ramaswamy. So I'm calling this motherfucker, if he ever watches this video, to fucking leave Ukraine alone, to stop with Ukrainian people death, to stop ban Ukrainian language, to stop with Ukraine to disappear, and to just fucking leave. Go to burn in hell, Mr. Ramaswamy. The world does not need your garbage bullshit opinions.